Welcome to BeyondAges.com. I'm Melanie, and today we're talking about a difficult topic: how to break up with a woman. It's never an easy process for anyone involved, but sometimes it's necessary. Thankfully, there are a few ways to make your breakup just a little less painful. If at the end of the video you still have more questions, don't forget to check out BeyondAges.com for a ton of extra tips, as well as end-to-end video courses to meet and attract beautiful women. Don't drag it out. Sure, it sounds like this would make it even more painful. In the long run, though, getting it over with quickly is the best way for both of you. There's no need to continue putting more time and effort into a failing relationship. Instead, you may each be that much happier with someone else. Staying together to be nice is robbing you both of that opportunity. The method should match the level of involvement in your relationship. Believe it or not, sometimes ghosting is a good choice. Other times, it should warrant a lengthy face-to-face discussion so your reasoning is understood and you both get closure. Where you fall on this spectrum depends entirely on the relationship. If you've just been dating for a few weeks and aren't really feeling it, ghosting might be okay. It doesn't mean ignore her messages, more so just don't be the one to reach out. If it's mutual and you never hear from each other again, that's okay. You can both move on knowing it's ran its course naturally. If you're at the end of a long-term relationship, though, ghosting is not an option. At this point, you really do owe her a calm explanation at the very least. There's no easy way to break up with someone, but you can at least be tasteful about it. Breaking up over the phone. Falling somewhere between the ghosting approach and a long conversation is the phone call. It's more personal than a text message and leaves less room for misinterpretation. It also makes for an easier back and forth, so you can both understand the situation. It should be used with caution, and again, never do this to end a long-term relationship. Breaking up over text. Another touchy subject. The text message breakup is exclusively for very new, very casual relationships. Maybe you met on Tinder, had a few dates, and just aren't really feeling it. Really, that's about the only time when breaking up over text is a suitable option. Be mindful of her feelings and choose an appropriate time and place to break the news. Inviting her to dinner to break the news might sound like a good move, but that's rarely the case. She goes through all that effort to plan her night around it, get ready, and show up expecting a good night with you. Instead, the whole purpose is just to end the relationship, and now she has to travel home alone thinking about it. Rather than planning the world's worst surprise party, consider doing it at her home. Be willing to spend the time discussing it, and once it's over, you can simply leave. At least this way, she's in a comfortable environment, doesn't have to worry about onlookers, and has no need to drive anywhere. If you plan on having no future contact, pack it up. If the breakup is over something serious enough, you may not have planned on having contact with her in the future. If this is the case and she has belongings at your place, make sure you pack it all up and bring it with you. It adds that final bit of closure to the situation and makes sure she gets her things back. It also leaves no reason for you to talk awkwardly again in the future. Be aware that she'll immediately understand the subtle text of this. Breaking up with her tonight was a premeditated move. Know why you're doing it. This might sound silly at first, but it's important. Breakups are inherently stressful and the worst time to be thinking on your feet. Instead, consider your true motivations for doing it and how you plan to convey these to her. A little planning here can go a long way to making the whole process a little easier. Actually playing out the conversation to an empty room beforehand is a smart idea. It will allow you to consider your tone and words carefully before having the big moment. Use those I statements. As scary as these statements can be, they're important to a clean breakup. The truth is, framing your feelings as your feelings and not statements of fact is easier for her to take in. For example, saying, "You're always picking a fight with me," immediately puts her on the defense. Instead, try, "I feel like our differences are becoming apparent to me and I think it's best for us to go our separate ways." It's a subtle difference, but it keeps your explanation from sounding like an attack. Cut the online cords. Just like our first point today, you don't want to drag out your online connections either. If you've been Facebook official, it's best to change that immediately rather than waiting a month. That will only force you both to think about it again in the future. When it comes to friends you may have met through her, let them decide. Understand they may have to take her side on this, but ultimately leave the decision up to them. Of course, if you'd rather make a completely clean break, that's okay too. Get back out there. Sometimes this might feel difficult, and it's okay if you need to take some time. At some point, though, it's time to reactivate your dating profile and start again. The excitement of seeing a new person is one of the best cures for the blues of a breakup. Check out beyondages.com to learn more about how to go from here, including our expert courses for attracting women and taking things to the next level. Bye.